Colorado's head coach Deion Primetime Sanders is standing on business, and it seems like he's not going to tolerate the disrespect this year. What has happened is one of the Denver columnists, Sean Keeler, has been banned by Deion Sanders from all post-game press conferences due to his disrespect and personal shots. But before we get off into today's podcast, tell a friend to tell a friend. Well, it seems like Deion Sanders has had enough, man. He's not going to tolerate all the disrespect thrown toward him as we kick off this college football season. Now, we've known in the past when Deion Sanders took over the head coaching job for the Colorado Buffaloes, it came with a lot of, things that was thrown at him, a lot of things that he said to the media, a lot of things that the media said, a lot of people disrespecting him, a lot of people not critiquing him as a coach, but really just taking personal shots at him, talking about anything else than sports. And see, that's the problem that I have in today's society. When people can't keep it, about sports, they can't keep it about what their profession holds. They always have to take personal shots and personal jabs about their character and the upbringing and their Christian beliefs, things outside of the game. Now, what has happened in the past? We all know what Jason Whitlock does and how he tries to provoke Deion Sanders and says a lot of things toward his character instead of just, critiquing his coaching ability and keeping it 100% football. But you know what Jason Whitlock does? Jason Whitlock goes on these tirades and takes personal jabs at Deion Sanders just to get a response from Deion Sanders. Now, we all know last year, Jason Whitlock was a hard critic of Deion Sanders, not just on the football field, but personally. And it got to a point where Deion Sanders actually blocked Jason Whitlock on Twitter X because he didn't want to see no more the bull job. And Deion Sanders is standing on business, and he's not going to tolerate that this year. So what has happened? We started the season off, Colorado was 1-0, but before the season jumped off, we saw what Paul Feinbaum had to say, and Deion Sanders totally obliterated him by just responding on RG3's podcast on what he says. He said, "A fan only blows when you're hot," in reference to Paul Feinbaum, his statements about Deion when he's talking about the program was irrelevant, but he tried to give Deion his praise and saying he likes Deion. But Deion responded to him and said, if we're irrelevant and we're nothing to talk about, why are you talking about us? And that's what he made the statement, "A fan only blows when you're hot." So now it comes to the Denver columnist, Sean Keeler. He's made some remarks in the past about Deion Sanders, highly critical of Deion Sanders in these post-game press conferences every time he gets a chance to, ask Deion Sanders a question. But Deion is not going for it because it's total disrespect and outside of lines what Sean Keeler has done. So we're going to take a look at what happened and how Sean Keeler got banned from Colorado's post-game press conferences and asking Deion Sanders questions. So let's take a look at the article. After a series of sustained personal attacks on the football program, and specifically Coach Prime, the CU athletic department, in conjunction with the football program, have decided not to take questions from Denver Post columnist Sean Keeler at football-related events. Keeler is still permitted to attend football-related activities and is, as a credentialed member of the media, and other reporters from the Denver Post are welcome to ask questions of football program. Personnel made available to the media include coaches, players, and staff. his ban of Keeler isn't going to hamper Keeler's ability to do his job. I know because I've got one on me too. Not from Colorado, but there's professional sports teams who all but told me that any request with my name on it will be a DOA. They didn't go to the extreme of broadcasting it for the world to see, but it's still there, nor I'm going to name names either. Keeler is just doing his job. If Sanders doesn't like what's being said, he needs to not finish 4-8 after being hyped as a Colorado Jesus. That's one all mine. Prime don't at Keeler over that one. Sanders has a history of doing this kind of thing dating back to his Jackson State days. He comes off as a nice guy, but he has a mighty thin skin, it would seem. I mean, let's just roll out the guillotine here. Right? Side note, that was sarcasm, folks, not an actual call from somebody's head, okay? It comes with the territory. Basically, Keeler can still do his job. He figuratively has to go to work with tape over his mouth whenever he's at a game. The reason for the ban, apparently Keeler in his job as a columnist has referred to Sanders' time in Colorado as Disposition Deion, the Bruce Lee of BS, a false prophet, Planet Prime, the Deion Kool-Aid, and Circus. Now, you see, that's the stuff that I'm talking about. When it starts getting personal and you're doing your job and you're putting personal attacks to it, that's where we have to draw the line. So I can understand why he got banned from, Colorado's post-game press conferences and not being able to ask Deion Sanders questions after games. That's totally on him. Some of these people, just go outside the lines. And Deion Sanders is not going to tolerate it this year. And I'm glad he's standing on business. I'm glad he put his foot down. And I don't think Sean Keeler will be banned for forever. I mean, he'll get his credentials back, but we've seen what happened in one of these media availabilities days before kickoff about CBS when Deion Sanders went at it with CBS. And see, it's just disrespect. I mean, you can ask questions about the game, but when it gets personal, come on, guys, that's where we draw the line, man. And this in all sports, man. We got to stop that, man. Critique the game for what it is. Critique the individual about what they're doing, on the field or on the hardwood. You don't have to be personal, make everything personable. And that's the problem that we have. And that's why I'm glad that somebody has stepped up. And I hope this, sends a message through the media outlets and other networks that, hey, we don't have to be personable. It's all right to critique them in different ways, but the personal stuff and calling them outside of their name and things like that, we have to stop that. In Colorado, like I said, Deion is just trying to get that program in the right direction. He wasn't satisfied with the win. He was glad that they got the win against North Dakota State, but he didn't like the way they won, put it that way. He was frustrated. He said he wanted to keep his anger in, but he's going to take the win and you got to build off of it. And he said we're one step closer to Miss Peggy's dream. So Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes is off to a hot start. And football season is in rare form now for college. Deion Sanders is going to be talk on all sports shows. Colorado is a national spectacle. Everybody wants to see what Colorado's going to do. Everybody's tuned in to see what Colorado's going to do. But I'm just glad at this time that, somebody has pointed out the obvious, that if you can't critique my coaching and you have to take it steps above and take personal shots at me and digs like that, then, hey, something has to be done about it. And Deion made a major statement. He got the guy banned. So Sean Keeler, it's up to you to get back in there and do the right thing and do your job the correct way. I know it's about having thick skin, but you can't take personal jabs. Do your job. But you guys let me know what y'all think about today's podcast. What you think about Deion getting Sean Keeler banned from the post-game press conferences at Colorado. Make sure you got your post notifications on. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not. Do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Droppin' podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.